you once again. We have taken Highway 69 from the turnoff outside of Whitehall, between Whitehall and Cardwell, and we're driving Highway 69 up to Boulder. The reason I took this video today is because the Boulder River, which Highway 69 follows, is overflowing at its banks. And it's kind of a pretty drive. You can see how the weather changes in Montana from sunny to stormy pretty quickly. Well, I'm walking here behind this beautiful historic church, and I wanted to see what the river looked like. This is an irrigation ditch. I thought maybe that might be running a little bit higher, and I'm kind of surprised down in here, which you can't really see the river too well because it's back in there. I thought maybe I would see a little bit more. But anyway, I hope you enjoy this video. It's just a interesting drive heading to Boulder, Montana. This is where it flattens out and you just come down over the hill once you are going toward Boulder. And that's where you can just start to see the river. And I'll try to stop it along certain areas where you can see that's flooding. It's really a very small river coming out of Boulder, but the banks are definitely overflowing. And it was interesting because this all runs through classic cattle country here in Montana. So the cows are still down in the pastures in the fields here because they haven't put them up in the mountains yet. We're just really now getting our first snow melt, so there's a lot of snow yet up in the mountains, which is why I thought this was interesting, because we've only had a few days of warm weather. A lot more water to come, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens in a couple weeks here. But everything is greening up really nicely. Now, looking this way is looking toward where Bozeman would be on the other side of that hill there. All right, so here you can kind of see where it's branching out and flooding these pastures, like right there especially. That's usually, there's usually not water there. Not that much, just a little bit. So yeah, I imagine the ranchers are getting a little bit concerned right now because their cattle are still grazing here in this area. They can't really run them up into the mountains yet. And that streak coming down on the left there is the sun glare. There you can see back in there the flooding too. So there's an old road that you can cross at certain times of the year and go between these, to the left of that mountain there, where I scribbled that red. I don't know, it could be all private land now where you can't access and go through. It's been quite a few years since I've gone through there, but anyway, there's usually see a lot of game over in there. But you can kind of get a sense of what this ranch land looks like in through here. Like, look at all the cattle coming up, and see that? Yeah, major flooding. The cattle don't have a lot of room right now, and we're just starting our flooding season. So it's kind of interesting. Yeah, we go from winter to summer. In the first part of summer, we have flooding if we've had a good snow. This winter was definitely a good winter for snow, that's for sure. Yeah, we had a good 6 months of solid winter this year. No breaks, no Chinooks. So I hope you enjoy this ride. And yeah, look, you can just see all these different areas and where the cattle are grazing and so forth. It's going to be interesting. So there were some stormy clouds starting to build all around us, and so my my light and dark is a little weird because of that. But it's kind of fun to see the storm coming in. You'll get a better sense of that here later on down the road. All right, so yeah, now we're coming into some more flooding areas. Pretty serious. Guys worry about the cows and the ranchers, like, oh man, where are they gonna move all those animals if they have to? Look at this. Okay, so that storm is up ahead here. I'm not sure how well the camera's gonna pick it up, but it was kind of interesting because behind us it's all sunny and bright, and kind of up all around there's some storm clouds. You can kind of see them there, but you can still see the river banks, and there's spots of sunlight off in the foothills. Well, anyway, up ahead there, that darkness is kind of the storm over there in the north. And we'll see some more parts of the Boulder River here coming up. We're getting closer to some more lowlands, like right in here. And then as we get closer to Boulder Hot Springs and the town of Boulder itself, you can see a little bit more. But I just thought you might enjoy this drive along Highway 69. I used to have to drive this a lot in the winter time, and oh man, the storms, the winds would blow across this valley like crazy. Oh, there it just got dark. Yeah, pretty dangerous road. They have done some major road work, so they got good shoulders on it now. But still, it's just a Montana highway, 2-lane. You do have to be really careful because people from out of state sometimes don't realize that you can't always pass when you think you should be able to pass, because there are a lot of curves and hills and you can't always have real good visibility ahead of you. So it's best just to take it easy and enjoy the beautiful drive along this highway. I guess I don't understand why people want to just zoom on through. They probably waited their whole lives to see Montana and they're going 80 miles an hour because they think they can. Well, really, you can't. These back roads, these old highways are not really made to be going 80. On some parts of the interstate, you can go 80, but why? That's just me. Well, maybe because I'm old. I don't know. I like to enjoy the sights. Well, I always have. So we enjoy traveling through Montana. There you can see the storm clouds a little bit better. The rain was coming in. You never really know if you're going to get caught in the storm. This time of year, you don't really care too much because it's just going to be rain. But they tend to swirl around the mountains. Sometimes they get caught in the mountains and you can miss them altogether. Or sometimes they can hit you pretty hard. But I just love all those clouds and the way it changes. You remember the beginning of this drive? It was all blue sky, cool white clouds. Now, look at that darkness there. Now, aside from the bugs on the windshield, you can see how dark it got. Just like that quick. And those are raindrops, as well as some bug marks that you're seeing. But yeah, it started raining pretty heavily. I don't think people are saying, yeah, we need the moisture right now, because that's not really true. The water levels in the mountains are, I think, well, in certain areas are like 145% because we had lots and lots of snow this year. There you get some contrast between where it's not storming and where it is storming. So yeah, I had a little bit of trouble adjusting my light meter because of the storm. So it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out. But now we're getting closer to Boulder, the town of Boulder. Like in just a couple minutes we'll be there. Yeah, so this is some of the lower lying land. And the river is back behind all these buildings here. So they're not quite in too much danger here. Oh, there's the church. St. John's Catholic Church. If you ever get through here, I'm sure you'll notice it. You can stop and you can look around. Some of those grave headstones go way back into the mid-1800s. Lots of the big names from this area are noted in that cemetery. I believe I've done maybe I haven't done a cemetery video on it. I have a whole playlist of cemeteries because I enjoy going through cemeteries. I'll have to do that over there at St. John's. So yeah, where all those trees and stuff down in there, of course, is where the river is. There's lots of aspen coming up in through here. They actually cut lots and lots of them down when they fixed up the highway. So straight ahead there where it kind of lightens up and the mountains level down, that's where you go over to Helena. You actually can catch fish in the Boulder River, but it's not recommended that you eat them because You know, there's some pretty famous health mines over there in the mountains, and people come from all over the world actually to sit in them. They're uranium mines, and what it does is it eliminates the arthritic pain. I've known a lot of people, like a lot of Canadians, come down here and they spent about 10 days getting their dosage of uranium. And I know for a fact that it really does work, because when I lived in Boulder, there's the land, of course, has the residue of uranium in it too. I mean, not in like high doses or anything, but it actually is a pain reliever. I guess it's probably not the healthiest thing, since this little town of Boulder has a very rare and not well understood brain cancer. I've known 5 different elderly men that were born and raised in Boulder who came down with this rare form of cancer. So they kind of think it might be linked to that. Not really sure. And maybe that's why Boulder hasn't really exploded. People might be afraid of that. But when I lived there, it was great because I had a really bad knee. I never had pain when I lived in Boulder. I know that probably sounds kind of hokey, but it definitely is true. Well, it's what I experienced, and I knew a lot of people who felt the same way, because when I left Boulder and moved over to Butte, I started noticing the pain came back in my knee. So pretty weird, but you know, there's a lot of unusual things that go on in the world that we don't completely understand, maybe never will. Don't have to. So here we got some more cattle together here, and you can see there's back in there too. You can start to see the river again. It's not too bad here yet. Well, I hope you kind of enjoy these travels with Lucky videos. We do get out to some beautiful places, see some interesting things. I really like to look for the oddities and the not so usual things. Oh yeah, so if you do like these kind of videos, click that like button and subscribe to Lucky's channel. When you click the like button, it actually helps the channel, and Lucky's trying to grow his channel. He's very close to getting his 1,000 subscribers. It may not sound like a lot when a lot of YouTube people have like hundreds of thousands of subscribers, but we don't really care too much about that. We just want to make sure that people who enjoy these kind of videos get notified and can watch more. A lot of people can't get out and take these kind of leisure drives like we do, so it's kind of fun to be able to share the experience. There, some of the aspens. Just think, this whole road along here. Oh, okay, right here, slowing down. So, okay, so that is the road to get up to Elkhorn, which is an old mining town. Plan on going up there this summer too. It'll be in our future videos. Now look how green the grass is. This is a little dense in here because of the water. You can kind of see it through the willows and the aspen. You can see it better up here in just a minute. But we're getting pretty close to Boulder now. I think it's just beautiful country, and it's fun to see. I've seen it a million times, but I could see it a million more times. There, that's flooded. That's all flooded in there. You can't really see it too well, but here, here you can see it better. That's a lot of water that's not usually there. I don't think it'll go over the road, but you know, that's a real possibility. So yeah, if you are traveling, you know, this time of year through Montana, you do want to check for road closures due to flooding, because you never really know. Hate to get somewhere and then have to turn around and go back. So you can just dial 511 and get the road reports. Look at the green grass. So pretty. As all we've seen is white for so long. So this bridge here will probably get washed out. You can see the water's just about a foot under the top of it. Well, on the other side of the road, which you can't see, is Boulder Hot Springs. And I recently did a video on Boulder Hot Springs. You might enjoy watching that. I'll put a link to it. Now here is the, well, it's for women who have addictions, and instead of going to jail, they can go there and get cleaned out. And this is Youth Dynamics for at-risk teenagers. And that's just the shops. And back in there is the old mental health institution, the heating center. Okay, right here is, we just crossed the Boulder River. Okay, I gotta slow this. Okay, this is the town of Boulder. It's not very long, a few blocks long. Pretty nice little town. They also fixed up their main street. Straight ahead, about 6 blocks, is where I-15 intersects, and you go left to Helena, and no, you go left to Butte, and you go right to Helena. We're not going to quite go that far. I just wanted to finish this by showing you Boulder, Montana. I'm going to do a full-length video on Boulder. We just discovered a great sweet shop. They have homemade cookies and all that good fattening stuff. I had a breakfast burrito, which was delicious. So this'll kind of wrap things up. This is Boulder, Montana, just the main street. And I'll show you a few more mountain scenes as we conclude this, and hope you enjoyed this video. Now we're just heading back home. That, by the way, is Lucky's new travel vehicle. And thanks for watching Travels with Lucky. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and like the video. Appreciate you watching. Till next time.